Stacy, Cycle 1, Week 19. We're here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our timeline. Lincoln's War between the states. Reconstruction of the southern states. Dominion of Canada. Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany. Boer Wars in Africa. The Spanish-American War. The Progressive Era. And the song will go like this. Lincoln's War between the straits, reconstruction of the southern states, dominion of Canada, Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, Boers, wars in Africa, the Spanish-American War, the Progressive Era. Let's try that again. Lincoln's War between the states, reconstruction of the southern states, dominion of Canada, Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, Boers, wars in Africa, the Spanish-American War, the Progressive Era. Lincoln's War between the states, reconstruction of the southern states, dominion of Canada, Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, Boers, wars in Africa, the Spanish-American War, the Progressive Era. That was our timeline. We're going to go ahead and move on to the area of a circle. We've been working on geometry, and so we're going to keep this going, and we're going to continue here. With the area of a circle equals pi times the radius square. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius square. And what is pi? 3.14. Pi is 3.14. Say that with me. Pi is 3.14. Again, pi is 3.14. Again, pi is 3.14. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. We're going to move on to English. We had our helping verbs. And we've been learning our helping verbs with this old man, and we're at the very end. Shall, will, can, shall, will, can, shall, will, can. And if we put the whole thing together, it should go helping verbs, help another verb assert, action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, could, would, shall, will, can. And those are our helping verbs. Let me show you what some of them were. And we had the helping verbs, which were here. Helping verbs, helps another verb assert, action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, could, would, shall, will, can. And that finishes our helping verbs. And also, just in case you're wondering, the area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. Let's go on to our history. History, we learned the Anasazi. The Anasazi, the Anasazi. Tell me about the Anasazi. The Anasazi, the Anasazi of the southwestern United States built adobe villages in caves and on the sides of cliffs from 500 BC to AD 1200. The Anasazi, the Anasazi of the southwestern United States built adobe villages in caves and on the sides of cliffs from 500 BC to AD 1200. The Anasazi of the southwestern United States built adobe villages in caves and on the sides of cliffs from 500 BC to AD 1200. You got it. That's about the Anasazi. Tell me about the Anasazi. You got it. Let's move on to Latin. This is the Anasazi, by the way. Let's move on to Latin. We had our third declension noun endings. Third declension noun endings is to the tune of Bingo. And I have a little dog here, but my dog's name is Pickles. But we changed Pickles Eagle's name to bingo. So this is going to be bingo for today. And we are going to do our hands to where we say various is. We're going to kiss our 3 fingers. And then E-M-E like a bee, buzz like a bee. E-M-E. And then when we get to hear ace, we're going to hold our hands, 2 hands. We're going to hold both of them like this, like aces. And we're going to go with our lips. And then abus for our ribs, we're going to go abus and we're going to point to our ribs. Ace, abus. All right, so I let the kids pass around the bingo dog and they got to hold on to this while we sang our song. So I'm going to set bingo down and we're going to go ahead and do our 3rd declension noun endings. So, various is, E-M-E, various is, E-M-E, various is, E-M-E, singular 3rd declension, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, plural 3rd declension. Let's try it fast. Various is, E-M-E, various is, E-M-E, various is, E-M-E, singular 3rd declension, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, ace, abus, plural 3rd declension. And that was our Latin. We moved on to science. And with science, we had some ocean zones. Let me show you what are some of ocean zones. Just like we had last week, we're now talking about ocean zones this week. We have epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathypelagic, and abyssopelagic. The top surface, this is the sun up here, the top surface is right here. Then it gets a little deeper in the water. It gets a little deeper and that's mesopelagic. Ooh, and then it gets down even below and it gets deeper. That's bathypelagic. And at the very bottom of the ocean floor, down in the dark, is the abyssopelagic. And so we did this to a sailor went to sea, to see what he could see. What are some ocean zones? Epipelagic zones. Mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, zones. Let's try that again. What are some ocean zones? Epipelagic zones. Mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, zones. Let's try that 2 more times. What are some ocean zones? Epipelagic zones. Mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, zones. What are some ocean zones? Epipelagic zones. Mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, zones. And that was our science. We're going to move on to geography, and we learned about Mesoamerica. This was a lot of fun in class today. We did a song to let me see. I can't remember it. It went some places in Mesoamerica, Lake Texcoco, Mexico City, Oaxaca and Mayapan, Chichen Itza, Pizza, Mesoamerica. Let's see, it was to the song Jalisco, and it was Mesoamerica, Lake Texcoco. I can't remember it, but let me go ahead and show you. We had Mesoamerica, and then we had Lake Texcoco, and then Mexico City. This is called Oaxaca and Mayapan, and then Chichen Itza, Mesoamerica. I got it. Some places in Mesoamerica, Lake Texcoco, Mexico City, Oaxaca and Mayapan, Chichen Itza, Pizza, Mesoamerica. And how we did this is now I'm going to point to the spots. places in Mesoamerica. Lake Texcoco is the yellow. Mexico City is the dot right next to it. The city, Mexico City, is right on the lake. Oaxaca, and Oaxaca is right here. And Mayapan is in green. And then we have Chichen Itza is right here inside this little triangle, which is our pizza. That's pizza. And then this Mesoamerica, let's try again. Here we go. Some places in Mesoamerica. Lake Texcoco, Mexico City, Oaxaca, and Mayapan. Chichen Itza, pizza, Mesoamerica. 2 more times. Some places in Mesoamerica. Lake Texcoco, Mexico City, Oaxaca, and Mayapan. Chichen Itza, pizza, Mesoamerica. Last time. Some places in Mesoamerica. Lake Texcoco, Mexico City, Oaxaca, and Mayapan. Chichen Itza, pizza, Mesoamerica. You got it. Then we had science, and in science we learned about crystals. These are some pictures of crystals. We learned about crystals, and we were exploring the formation of crystals, and we looked at the shapes. And we also found out that there are crystals all around us. And crystals form geometric shapes, and many crystals actually start out as liquids. In our science project, we evaporated water to watch the salt molecules that are left behind to form into crystals. This can happen with other molecules too, like sugar molecules. If a mixture has just one type of mineral, then the crystals that form will have the same shape. Shapes can be triangular, square, cubed, hexagon, and many more. Shapes often form into patterns, and we call them crystal lattices. Jewelers make them. And so what we learned about this was that we found that temperature has an effect on crystals, and we also found that not just the temperature has effect on crystals, but also the material that we have. And the other thing is the high pressure, time, and the space. They have to have the space to grow. And so what we did was we placed 1/3 cup of Epsom salt and 1/2 cup of water, and we watched it mix it together. Then we added a couple drops of dish soap, and this was our solution. And then we spread it onto a mirror, and we watched it crystallize. And then we also put it on black paper, and we watched it crystallize. Crystals, what are crystals? Crystals are minerals that atoms are arranged in a highly organized repeating pattern. Minerals are all over our world, and crystals at the atomic level, when minerals form together, they are crystals. And so I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to talk about what we learned in orchestra. We moved on over and we learned about the Baroque period, the Baroque and classical periods. The Baroque period was an era dominated heavily by ornamented style of music composed from 1600 to 1750 that celebrated drama, movement, tension, and emotional exuberance. The classical period was a time from 1750 to 1820 where artists and musicians desired to move away from the opulence of the Baroque period and move towards the clean, more simplistic style of classical Greece. So we learned about the different families in orchestra, and we found out that tons of people play music all over the world. And what we also found out is that piano is considered a percussion instrument because there are keys that strike little hammers in the back. We also learned about the string family. The string plucks and bows instruments. We had the violin, viola, cello, and bass. We learned about the guitar a little bit, got to hear it play, and then we learned about all the different instruments that are like the flute and the French horn, our brass, and the trumpet are brass. But then we also found out about the reed family, like the bassoon and the oboe and the clarinet. Those are woodwind. Then the percussion. We found out about percussion. And then we also found out where everybody sits inside an orchestra. We had our first violins, second violins, and violas, and then our cellos. And then we have our bass back here. Sometimes the bass come over here too, but normally in the back. And then we have our oboe, bassoon, clarinets. These are more of your woodwind. And then here we had, and flute. And then over here we had, in the back is the brass. This is our French horns, our tubas, trombones, and trumpets. This is all of our brass here. So yes, I forgot, flute is a part of the woodwind. And then we had our percussion in the back, which is like the xylophone, the marimba, the drums, the timpani, the triangle cymbals, and those are things that you strike. And so we learned about some more of those instruments and the families that they're in. And then also I encourage you at home to make your own instruments and have fun. So that's what we learned about. We also listened to the music to see if we could distinguish those parts of the family of the orchestra. The orchestra is a union of instruments. What is an orchestra? A union of instruments. We had percussion was yellow. When you hear the drums or cymbals or even the piano, you raise this up when we're listening and you say you hear it. And when you don't hear it anymore, you put it down. When we heard this, we found out that the strings were very popular in the classical music. Strings. The woodwind, using a reed and blowing. We also found that the organ is considered a woodwind instrument. A wind instrument. And then brass would be trumpet, trombone, French horn, and tuba. And we found out that you vibrate and move your lips to make these sounds. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you.